Welcome to the show, Rally Towel Sports fam. Good evening. We've got Week 11 NFL Pick'em. Gentlemen,
Hi.
hello.
Hey,
What's going
What's
on,
up?
guys?
Hi.
nothing. Just chilling, feeling great.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna get to Aaron here in a minute, guys. He's wallowing at this point, rightfully so. Took a tough blow.
I
Last
wouldn't say
few
he's
days, so
wallowing. He's hurting.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was feeling really good Sunday, Monday, even Tuesday.
even this morning, just
Yeah.
not after a specific time. But we'll get into that.
Even for work.
Obviously a crazy week 10. Some surprising wins, some big performances, some huge upsets. So we'll get into all of it and dive in. Corey, I kind of want to start with you. What's the biggest shock from you for last week? Like what really stood out to you the most?
Oh man, to say I'm not like I'm shocked that I am shocked in that the Bengals lost. I guess I would put I'll say that. Am I shocked that CJ Stroud played really well? No. I would say the biggest shock for me would be I think the gap in how much the 49ers beat the Jaguars, like how badly they beat
That's
the
a good
Jaguars, how inept the Jaguars offense was, putting up 3 points in an NFL game. So I would say that is the biggest shock for me of the week. How uncompetitive they were at home.
Yeah, we made the case for like, hey, here's how Houston can win this game, and they kind of played that to a T.
They really
we
did.
said, we're not sure if Higgins is going to play. Chase can, still be a little bit hobbled, and CJ Stroud is ascending. My biggest surprise is the Buffalo Bills funeral. We certainly were on it early, but I still thought they're going to trip into the,
We all thought they were going to beat the shit out of the Broncos.
Oh, absolutely. And frankly, they should have won that game. You have 12 men on the field is a hilarious way to lose.
Is it true that the 12th man was DeMar Hamlin?
No. It's
not true.
That's not.
I did not fact check yet, but I did see that.
Yes, that was trending and incorrect.
Okay. Good job, Aaron.
Yeah, Todd, do you have anything outside of the the Bengals and the games just referenced? That kind of stood out last week.
I think I'm still every week. I'm just surprised at how bad the Patriots are this year. I really am. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I mean, it's ugly what's going on up there.
It's really bad.
And I don't know if you guys saw the same thing I saw today, but it sounds like Mac Jones is done, benched, and benched to the degree that he's going to become the third string quarterback in that offense, and that they're going to give Will Grier an opportunity to start this year at some point in time. Which, if you're New England, what do you have to lose at this point? You're 2-8, right?
Nothing. See what you got.
And you're playing in a division where the other 3 teams are playing good enough. I mean, you have 2 teams at 500 or above, and then you got the Jets, whatever they are currently. But you're not gonna shake in your division really at all. You're not gonna be a playoff buster. I think the shock for me comes from we spent our whole lives, fellas, just fucking listening to how good everybody sucked the Patriots' dick for 20 plus years. We had to hear it every year.
Rightfully so,
Right?
Sure,
right? But I mean, the Bulls deserved it too, and the Lakers deserved it too. And I was tired of hearing about the Lakers.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's just nice for it to swing the opposite direction and get the opportunity to talk about teams within their divisions that we haven't really got a chance to talk about before, or that we don't get to see highlighted on ESPN or wherever you're getting your viewing pleasures.
That's a good point, Todd. And you talk about the AFC East. Is it the most disappointing division in the NFL this year?
I'd say it's the most underwhelming. Yeah, because we thought 3-way competition, right, for the first place in the AFC East.
Well, I think a lot of people. I think some people were like maybe inflated high on the Jets. I had them
Well,
as
I
a
mean-
wild
Well, I mean, they're
card team.
minus Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
With
No,
Aaron
no, no,
Rodgers,
no,
there,
no.
it's a completely different season.
I don't know how much different though, but I think it is different. Obviously, yes, but how much different? I don't know. I had them as a wild card team. They're still kind of sniffing around that mark. Whether or not they'll get there is to be determined. But yeah, just underwhelmed by that division as a whole. And I think the main reason for it is because the people we pegged as probably division winners outside of the Dolphins, the Bills, sitting at 500.
Yeah, definitely a big disappointment out of that division for sure. Well, let's recap last week. We had some changes in the standings. The best week did not come from the panel, by the way. Best week came from chat. So
nice.
Todd and Aaron tied at 7-7 last week.
Well, Mary.
Excuse me. Mary
Give Mary her
did a
flowers.
really nice job.
Give
Mary's
Mary
the
her
only-
flowers for hitting 500.
Mary-
I was impressed.
Mary's the only one that picked the Vikings out of the
Fuck yeah,
the
she did.
four of us. So that was a big brain pick. Aaron, you had a great pick with the Cardinals last week over the Falcons. You were the only one that got that. You were a true solo on that between chat and the panel. And then those were the only two. So Corey, you and I were 9-5. Josh, you were 8-6. Dad, you were 8-6. British was 8-6. Tez was the winner overall last week at 10-4.
Wow,
Very nice.
Coming off the IR and
Coming
just
off
the
IR.
IR.
Just, yeah,
Fucking
10
flu
10
game for
catches,
Tez.
125 yards, and a couple tutties last week for Tez. So
boy.
good game. So overall standings on the panel, we have got Corey now sitting in first place. He is at 98-52. Aaron is one game back at 97-53. I am at 94-56, sitting 4 games behind the lead. And Todd and Mary, you guys are at 89-61. So sitting about 9 games off the pace. As far as chat's concerned, we got an absolute barn burner going between Josh and Tez, both at 62-40. So it is tied. So one of you guys is going to have to go astray this week and see if we can get some discrepancy there. Pops, you haven't been doing it as long, 55-31. And British, I took the 3 full weeks that you've done it. You're at 26-16. So pretty good average. Everybody here's above 500, so I'd count that as a win.
Boy, we got a real smart fan base. Just a lot of smart people.
And what Bobby, you can we could average it, right? Wins by total games and just get a win percentage.
I like that.
Might have to go out a couple decimal places, but yeah, we'll get it done. All right, boys. Well, let's dive into week 11. AFC North showdown this week. Obviously, the entire AFC North is playing each other this week, but we're going to start with the first one, which is tomorrow night. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Bengals coming off of a tough loss. Ravens also took an L last week. So both of these teams, struggled last week, and this week they got to play each other, and these are always bloodbaths. So I want to defer to Corey and Todd. Do you guys want to start? Do you want to finish this one? How do you want to go about this?
Are you warm, Corey?
I can go ahead and go if you.
Let's ride. We can rock and roll it.
So, just kind of unpacking still, obviously on these like short turnarounds, especially coming off a loss and a loss like the Bengals had on Sunday, to where you're like, holy shit, they're gonna come back and win this game. I mean, they're down like fucking 13 or something, I think it was, with 3.5 minutes to go. Yeah, and all of a sudden they're driving with the ball, and other than Tyler Boyd dropping a touchdown pass, they win that game, maybe. More than likely, at least. They're forcing Houston to have to score a touchdown, not just kick a field goal, right? Which completely changes everything. That said, the Bengals were giving up explosive plays through the air throughout most of that game, but it puts a lot of pressure, and it I would say the win percentage is a lot higher than what it was, having just kicked a field goal and having to play defense, which they didn't do a very good job of most of that game. Run defense nowhere to be found. Explosive play defense. I mean, I think Singletary had over 140 yards on the ground.
150 yards on the ground.
Yeah. The explosive plays through the air were insane to me. Hats off to CJ Stroud and his ability to create off script. When you talk about some of the best quarterbacks in the league, whether it be a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Burrow or a Jalen Hurts, or you can even put Josh Allen in that category, maybe.
I was gonna say, is he still there? Like, we
Yeah,
get
I
to
don't.
that later. We get to that
Yeah,
later.
we can talk about the Bills later, but I think CJ Stroud is demonstrating some of those things as well. I thought their offensive line played really well. So I say all of that to say, like, I'm still kind of mentally unpacking that game, but like, here we are.
It's a short week.
We're going into fucking Baltimore on a Thursday night, which we're banged up, they're banged up. Welcome to mid-November football, boys and girls.
Flip a coin.
So, like, as I get ready and look at this game and try and make an accurate pick here, Baltimore's really good at running the football. The Bengals are not going to have Sam Hubbard. They are going to have Trey Hendrickson, but they're not going to have Sam Hubbard tomorrow. Sam Hubbard is the run defense, as far as I'm concerned, setting the edge. We saw a lot of really sloppy play out of Joseph Asai out on the edge, not maintaining that edge or setting the edge rather in the run defense. And I think that showed in what Houston was able to do. Houston was one of the worst run teams in the league for this entire season up to that game, really. So for what they were able to do was pathetic. That's like, I'm gonna give you what I'm concerned about, and then a reason to be hopeful for Bengals fans. I know we've got some of them in the chat. Reason to be hopeful: this is a team of veterans, not only veterans on the field, but guy with the headset on, Lou Anarumo. He's been around the block a time or two. He's proven himself. So to say that they're going to kind of sulk into a week, let alone a divisional game, would just kind of be silly. I do anticipate them to not just mail it in this week and try and get something together emotionally or collectively as a team. But again, the concern is there because they haven't really proven it a whole lot. Tyler Boyd, 2 huge drops in that game against Houston. That being said, he had a couple of really good plays too. As Joe Burrow said, Bengals wouldn't even have been there in that position to score had Tyler Boyd not taken them there. Tyler Boyd is kind of made up of that same thing, to where, like, if anything, this is fuel for him. And if the Bengals are going to win tomorrow night, they need somebody other than Jamar Chase to step up and do it, because T. Higgins isn't playing either. The key to victory, though, is getting Jamar Chase involved. I need like at least 10 receptions out of Jamar Chase. I need him lining up in different spots. It's not Joe Mixon. It's not Tanner Hudson. It's not Charlie Jones. It's Jamar Chase. Okay, that's it. And so being a road dog, I don't know if that's going to fuel Joe anymore, or if he's going to use all of this kind of passion to excel into some Superman mode, which is what the Bengals, like, let's be honest, that's what they need. And I'm trying to like not be too pessimistic here, because I feel terrible about this team right now after that performance against Houston. Like, I feel really negatively about my favorite team, which sucks. Like, that's not fun. But I have to keep reminding myself that not 5 fucking days ago we were like, the Bengals are back, dude. Like, the Bengals are they're there. Like, we all know who they are now. And just one game and we're just dismissing that. I'm not ready to just do that just yet. They were 5-4 last year. They went to the AFC Championship game. They were 5-4 the year before that. They went to the Super Bowl. This is a huge task. This is a huge challenge in front of them, going into Baltimore on a Thursday night game, banged up without 2 big players in Sam Hubbard and T. Higgins. I don't know if they're ready for it. And I don't know if the horses are in the stables, and I'm going to hedge my happiness, and I have to take the Ravens tomorrow night.
Todd.
Yeah. So look, I didn't get to. I expressed to my concerns before the game Sunday, as I was not able to watch. I had to listen to the game. I was driving back really through Aaron's neck of the woods once game time kind of hit its stride. I'm driving back from Pennsylvania back to Columbus, or back to Cincinnati rather, and I was listening I was having Mary give me the play-by-play through the game, and I heard a lot of kind of Corey sentiment of like, 30-yard reception, 22-yard reception, 18-yard run. A lot of just like slow, boom, slow, boom. And then a lot of it, I didn't get a chance to dig it much into the stats getting into tonight, but there were a lot of 3rd and more than 4 that got completed by Houston. And that's a problem. That's a real legitimate problem defensively.
A lot of devastating plays that happened on 3rd down.
Yeah. So I share a very similar sentiment to Corey. I texted Corey as soon as the game was over that I felt very strongly that I was very upset about them losing. And a lot of it is like when you don't get to watch it, or you have to listen, or someone's kind of running it through you, and you hear momentum shift the other direction, and then all of a sudden they're in the red zone on the goal line, and Twitter, boom, Tyler Boyd drop, just boom, and it's like I'm driving, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I had to watch an extended highlight when we got back, and it's frustrating. And and a lot of Bengals fans are frustrated, but I'm where Corey stands right now. I'm trying to be optimistic getting into tomorrow.
I'm gonna be so back at kickoff. Like I'm gonna be just like, let's fucking go. Like, but right now I'm licking my wounds still. Like,
and it's hard. You said it on a short week. It's tough. So my keys to Cincinnati winning. I think Corey's point is not wrong by saying Jamar Chase needs to be heavily involved in the offense, but I think they need to. You need to establish not having T Higgins to throw the ball to impacts them being able to get the third and greater than 4. So you have to establish the run game somewhat early in the game in order to establish the play action later in the game. If you are down by 10, let's say, and you need to rip off a big play in the 3rd quarter to reset momentum, or in the 4th quarter to reset momentum. So I do agree. It's not Joe Mixon that's the biggest impact of this game, but I think really the biggest impact of this game to me is adaptable offensive play calling. That's kind of where I stand. Being able to take what Baltimore is going to present to you, because I know Marlon Humphreys, but that doesn't really mean shit to me because this Baltimore defense will take care of business one way or the other. It's one of the top 5 pass rushing defenses in the NFL, and it's one of the biggest turnover differential defenses in the NFL. So they'll make it happen one way or the other. So I think it's the Bengals. It's Zach Taylor's adaptability to make the right play call with what's presented, and I haven't really seen that a lot this year. And I'm sure Corey's face just kind of shared that sentiment with me, where I've seen a lot of similar play calling on 1st down and then 3rd down, and it didn't work on 1st down, and I don't know why the fuck you run it on 3rd and 7 when it's a 3-yard flat route. Like I've seen that a lot, and I get frustrated with it. And
rightfully so.
I mean, that's Joe too, like taking what's there, rather than forcing something. Like that's not all Zach. Like one thing that we do have to be cognizant of is like anytime that a play goes really well, the players get all the credit. Anytime a play goes poorly, the coach gets all the blame. Like that's just a natural dynamic. But Todd, you're hitting the nail on the head in terms of the way that they managed that last drive, throwing on 1st down. And then doing a QB draw kind of on 2nd down, and then throwing again on 3rd down. It just left so much time on the clock when you were clearly comfortable with taking the field goal. You have to work that clock, or at least force a timeout out of Houston and run the football. That's a no-brainer there. I don't get that. So definitely, I think you're right on the play calling aspect. Have to be better there.
Yeah. Todd, who do you got this week?
So I got the Ravens too. I want to be able to be really excited about being wrong.
Yeah, and can I just say one more thing? Like again, like Bengals fans, this team time and time again, whenever you're ready to write them off, they have proven over the last couple of years that they're fucking there. And so are we surprised on Friday morning if Joe Burrow rips the shirt open and there's a giant S on his chest and you're getting the fucking TikTok memes of Joey Burr and the fucking cool hip hop music and Joe Burrow's just looking cool as fuck? Like, are you surprised Friday morning if he just fucking balls out? No, but everything in my body tells me that this is going to be a massive challenge for the Bengals tomorrow night.
Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, this is Finally, a good Thursday night football game, though, right, guys?
Yeah.
Let's at least
could potentially be the
yeah.
best one we've had all year. So.
Yeah, and obviously, Corey, the game will dictate that. But on paper, it's not. I'm not watching the Bears or the Commanders or whoever it might be. I'm happy that this is a well anticipated game. Obviously, everything we're seeing going on in the AFC North. Boy, you kind of have two teams who have a very similar feel of what happened this last week. You got two teams that were coming into week 10 on 4-game win streaks with some really good feather in their cap wins. Obviously, the way the Ravens took care of the Lions and took care of the Seahawks, the Bengals, they beat the 49ers and had some really solid wins in there too. But the Bills, those were some big games, some interesting stats here. For the Bengals in the last 25 years, 1-23 straight up away night games.
Away night games, yeah.
That's wild to me. Joe Burrow 0-5 on the road in prime time on the road, 5-0 at home. So,
wow,
those are things that are yeah. I mean, they're interesting to look at. But here's the thing. I mean, the Ravens, we saw the stat. They have trailed by a total of 28 minutes this year. And keep in mind, they didn't trail at all in the game last week. The clock struck 0 and they lost in the most wild fashion of anything I've ever seen. I saw Lamar in the last 2 weeks kind of look, I was like, hey, MVP Lamar, it's pretty, that's who I had. Joe Burrow was starting to make a case for it, and you saw last week. And hell, now CJ Stroud is really, you can oddly make the case as a rookie that, he's certainly in the conversation, and I would listen to anyone's argument that he's right there. This one is such a toss-up for me, guys. And the way that I've kind of been making these picks this year is, who does the win benefit more when I'm looking at these AFC North matchups? That's why I took the Ravens last time against the Bengals. That's why I took the Steelers last time against the Ravens. I'm going to take the Bengals here because the Ravens are in the better position in the division here. And the reason that game last week is leaving such a sour taste in Bengals fans' mouth is you kind of stumbled out of the gate. So these losses now are so much more complicated. You won 4 in a row, like you guys said. 5 days ago or 7 days ago, we're talking about I'm willing to put the Bengals right back in my contender conversation. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment here. I think the Ravens are still right there as well. I think they're going to come through a little bit of a they're going to come through a little bit of a regression here. Let's not forget that this team, has played overseas. They've played a predominant amount of games on the road. They are about to, after this week, have 1 game in 20 days. They're going to get a bye week. They're going to get some rest here. They're going to get right. They're going to be fine. I think this game is so important for the Bengals, and I think they come out with a fire. I think you see Joe Burrow play in that MVP style and level. I'm going to take the Bengals here on a flyer. And again, this is one of those coin flips for me. And I'll rock with the Bengals here and hopefully capitalize on your pessimism.
Thanks.
You all have made excellent cases, and I've literally listened to each one of you, and I have flip-flopped back and forth each time every single one of you open your mouth. That being said, keys for the Bengals to start well and compete in this game is Joe Mixon. They have to establish that running game. You saw when they were down, what was it, 13 points with a couple minutes left, they got that run game working. Joe Mixon got some key first downs. He helped them move the chains. It opened up the passing game for Tyler Boyd to get that big play on a play action, to which he ultimately got tackled just 5 yards short and then dropped the catch, which that's just gut-wrenching. Just a terrible way to lose a football game, and then nobody felt worse than Tyler Boyd. You could see it. He sat on the sidelines, and they showed him, and he was just devastated.
Consoling him.
Yeah. That's all you can do as a teammate is try to console him, man, because he had a hell of a game, and he just missed it.
He fucking owned it too. I think that's a big thing.
He took ownership, and that's all you can. That's all you could ever ask for out of a player. So, because you have a lot of guys that'll bitch about everything else, but taking ownership's huge. That being said, I'm also going to take the Bengals this week. My reason behind it, each time the Bengals have been in a game that is a must-win this season, they have gone out and they have won. This is a must-win for them. If they lose this game, their chances of making the playoffs severely diminish, and I don't think they go anywhere much further if they don't win this game this week.
So I love all those points, and God, I hope you're so fucking right, Bobby. I think the main thing on the line is not necessarily the playoffs. I think it's the division. I think they have like 4 or 5 winnable games.
Bengals have a pretty tough schedule the back half of the season. So this right here, like the Ravens don't have to win this game to still compete. The Bengals have to win this game to stay alive, in my opinion. They have to win this game to stay relevant. I know they're banged up. Trey Hendrickson's he's somehow scheduled to be 100% for the game, which is unbelievable considering he hyperextended his knee on the last play of the game.
Stud muffin.
Yeah,
Handsome too.
An absolute beast.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, we're split. So Pops has the Bengals, Josh and Tez, Corey and Todd have the Ravens. This is a complete split. Pop's coming in the comments saying this game will measure Zach Taylor. 1st and goal on the 1, run 3, kick, field goal would have been better.
Sure, it's Corey's sentiment. That's what Corey said. I think
they were on the 7. They were on the 7, but
yeah. So
it's just interesting how similar these teams are coming into this game.
Big game this week. Absolutely.
Each were riding a 4-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
Each lost on a last-second field goal. Field goal to lose in heartbreaking fashion on a short week, banged up. In the toughest division in football.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm as a
tomorrow night's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
The fact that we're split means this game is a 50-50. So and I've hedged my happiness a lot this year, so I don't blame you guys for doing that.
The Ravens let up what was it, like a 20-point lead, or what they have?
They let up like 3 different 14-point leads.
So against a guy who had an arm incapable of throwing a football, and he ended up going like 17 of 17 to end the game.
He had a high ankle sprain and a broken shoulder socket.
That's crazy.
And he went 14 of 14.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the Steelers-Browns here in a little bit.
That's actually a real quick point before we move on. And I'm sorry, Bobby, to cut you off there. The Ravens have a tendency to choke away in the fourth quarter. The Bengals have a tendency of rising to the occasion in the fourth quarter. I know they didn't get there last game. They kind of put themselves last week. They rose to the occasion. So that's another thing too, is if the Bengals get down early, I'm not afraid of that.
2 very clutch kickers as well. Something to watch out for.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Money Mac and the best kicker in the history of the NFL, Justin Tucker.
He was having a down year, oddly enough.
He's not having a great year.
We block him.
For Justin Tucker, a down year is like 3 missed field goals. Like,
he's missed 4. He's missed 4 field goals through 10 weeks. Yeah,
he's Nick Folk.
All right, we're gonna save the other AFC North matchup for a little bit later. Let's get into the rest of these 1:00 games. First one on the slate: the Antonio Pierce led Raiders headed to Miami to take on the Dolphins. What a story coming out of Vegas, guys. What a story. Antonio Pierce, longtime linebacker for the Giants on that team that took down the Patriots when David Tyree made that incredible catch. Yeah, right there on the head. Taking on the Dolphins, one of the best offenses in the league this year. Aaron, I'll let you lead it off. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins here. I mean, we talked about it last week as they were going into the bye. The Dolphins just haven't won any games against good teams. I don't think this is one of them. I mean, for the Raiders, they've played, outside of what we would have expected them to, since the McDaniels firing, which is great. If you're a fantasy player, I think you're holding on hope that, this is going to be a track meet. You can finally get like Devontae Adams to get some points. Jacobs is going to play well. I faded him last week, and, we almost got there. Of course, it's, why are you going to bet on Zach Wilson? That's on me. But I don't think this lightning is going to strike 3 times. Yeah. That's for sure, especially with this Dolphins team, coming off of a bye. They are starting to get some guys. I know A-Chain is in the return IR slot. I don't think he's going to play. I'm not 100% sure yet whether that matters or not. I think the Dolphins have a really, really easy schedule here coming up the next 5 games. And again, they're not going to get any credit for it because they're not going to be playing anyone that is, very good, but I think they're just going to continue to take care of business. You see this division completely wide open with the way that the Bills are fumbling over themselves. I can't trust a rookie quarterback being able to keep pace with this offense. And not to mention the defense has started to play a little bit better as well.
You guys want their next 5 games? Jets, Commanders, Titans, Jets, Cowboys, Ravens, Bills. That's
okay,
the
so
rest
the back stretch is
back.
Yeah, but they have
three
like
are tough.
5
The
there in a
the
row.
The next 4 there are pretty much.
You get a dual
not-
Zach Wilson in there for the spirit.
Yeah, I mean, we joke about that.
You might
but I
see
mean,
Aaron Rodgers in that second matchup,
No, you
though.
won't. He's not playing at all this year.
He said he's going to be back full time with the team by Thanksgiving,
I
whatever
don't
that
know.
means. In what capacity, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't write off the Jets just because it is a divisional game. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to absolutely win that, but I'm not writing them off. I want to see how the Dolphins play in a game where they should win as well. And just
I think the
taking the
Jets are
Dolphins.
good. I'm writing off Zach Wilson.
I'm
Corey, you
taking
got
the
the
Dolphins.
Okay.
It's 13.5 points. There's 0% chance I'm fading that.
Yeah.
Right. Todd.
Dolphins. For the same reason Corey just said, 13.5-point favorites.
Yep, I think the fairy tale ends here for the Raiders. I think it's been a great story the last couple of weeks. I think they come down to earth. Antonio Pierce, I think he definitely, he's got the right mindset. He's a player first kind of guy that's going to get people to run through brick walls for him. So
And wears all black Air Force Ones for game day.
I think if there's somebody that was not
wild
in the running for a head coaching job, I think he's making a good case for himself this year as a guy that can come in and get it done. So.
This will be the second time that the Raiders have had an interim coach have success at their team and they won't hire him.
Yep.
Yeah, but is
That's
this
crazy.
hiring the babysitter after the last one was like having Coke parties at the house? And you're like, well, this guy is great. And all he does is like put the kids to bed at 9.
Yeah, but like
I think you've seen a little bit more than that.
I'm just saying from a
with him.
comparison standpoint.
No, the point Aaron is making here with the analogy that's really funny actually, but like it's saying like
I get it because it
this
was so
guy's just
bad.
doing-
Like this
it
person
was-
looks great.
like
Like, I understand that analogy, but I think it's more than that because like you see the way like the players really like connect with him.
And I'm not disagreeing with that either, Bobby. The point I'm making is you had a guy that actually took your team to the playoffs. Yeah, they got beat in the first round, but you had a team interim coach that took your team to the fucking playoffs, and then you didn't give him the job. This guy could do whatever. Mark Davis is not giving him. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
think
I'm
they
not,
should.
I'm not saying he's going to get a job in Vegas. I just meant for
No,
other teams
I
that are going
think
to be
he
looking
should,
for
is
positions.
my-
I think he has the ability to be a head coach in the NFL. Is what I'm getting at here.
It's
It
too
should
small
be
of a
in Las
sample
Vegas.
size. But when he gets a job or a chance in 2 to 3 years, this will be part of that resume.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. That being said, I've got the Dolphins as well. Everybody's got the Dolphins this week. Cool. Move on to another divisional matchup. We're moving up to the NFC North. We've got the Chicago Bears headed to Detroit to take on the Lions. It's going to be a good one, boys. I got the Lions, though. I don't think anything's going to stop them from rolling. I watched the Dan Campbell hype video. Like
He is just wild.
Dude, like they went back and replayed that speech that he did when he first was introduced as the head coach for Detroit and just talking about just biting off kneecaps, getting knocked down, getting back up. It's going to take 2 more swings.
Chumbawamba.
Yeah. This Lions team is absolutely insane. Jameer Gibbs actually got used last week alongside David Montgomery. They both had a nice balance at carries. I think that David Montgomery was kind of upset, so he just decided to run a 75-yard touchdown. He's like, "You're not going to give it to me to go line? Fine, I'll just run
My quad's
75-yard
fine.
touchdown."
Give me the fucking football.
Right.
We got a legit 2-headed monster here, guys. And
It's insane, man. I got the Lions. Aaron, go ahead.
you had 2. If I was like, all right, there's 3 touchdowns from Lions running backs. I'm gonna tell you how it happens beforehand. You can place your money how you want. Somebody's gonna score 2 from the goal line. Somebody's gonna break off a 75-yarder. Well, how's that? Who do you think's gonna do which one?
You guys pick.
Yeah. I hear you.
I like and David Montgomery had one of the nicest cutbacks I've ever seen on that run. And one of the most important things to me on that play was how willing those receivers were downfield to lay blocks. And I love the vibes that are coming out of Detroit.
JMO too.
You know, well, that's what I'm saying.
He was the lead blocker downfield.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play. But I really do think you're going to see a legitimate two-headed monster here in Detroit on the run game. And man, am I happy for Jared Goff. I mean, as someone who was just thrown in a trade just to get his contract out of town, now looking like an absolute value. You know, I thought the Lions were going to use those 2 first-round picks to package and move up and maybe, you know, get the quarterback of the future. I think they might have it, guys. I don't see any reason why the Lions would want to move off of.
Do they need to go ahead and extend him this offseason?
I don't have his contract in front of me this second.
It's a team option for next year. Then I believe
but if
he'll be gone after, or free agent after, unrestricted free agent after.
Yeah, if I'm the Lions, I feel like you would like definitely be getting him at good value. Yeah, at good value comparative to the market. He's not going to reset the market by who he is, but he's certainly above that. Like we always say, like the Kirk Cousins line. I view him as above that right now. Yeah, I'm taking the Lions here. The Bears are, you know, Fields is coming back, but they're, you know, it's basically good vibes, bad versus bad vibes. I'm going with good vibes here.
Absolutely. Got a comment from a new member of the chat here. Welcome, Ariel. Detroit should win easy. The Bears have no offense at all. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a tough slate for the Bears last couple of weeks, especially, you know, minus Justin Fields. You know, I think he's such a big part of that offense being successful, and with him on the bench and Badgett in there, it's just not a good deal. So, Corey, go ahead.
Yeah, I got the Lions here, but I'm concerned about their prospects as a legitimate Super Bowl contender, being that you will not win a Super Bowl giving up 30 points. You won't do it. You'll actually lose most games giving up more than 30 points a game. That's just a statistical fact. You can argue with me if you want, but you're wrong. And the Lions have a very, very, very good offense. They do. They've proven that over the last couple of seasons, but the injury bug has stricken this team, particularly in the secondary. Talk all you want about Aiden Hutchinson. He's fantastic. He can't cover a wide receiver one. And they are giving up. Like Keenan Allen was insane in that game on Sunday afternoon.
He had a very big game.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was open all day. Almost every drive, you're like, God damn, another chunk play by Keenan Allen. And it was a fun game to watch. It was back and forth, but that's not a Super Bowl winning defense right now. Can they change the script like they kind of did at the tail end of last season? Absolutely, they can. Absolutely, they can. That is my main concern when comparing a San Francisco or a Philadelphia, which are the two, I think, clear top tier teams in the NFC. We doubted San Fran a little bit on their losing streak. I think they've reasserted themselves firmly in that contender conversation after what they did to Jacksonville last week. So that it's just concerning to me looking at the other two teams and looking at what the Lions have as a liability on defense. Lions win big here, though.
Todd.
Yeah, you get Justin Fields back this week, and if you look at the Bears statistically, they have a top 8 run defense, but really, the chunk of that is like 5 weeks in a row where they played like the Commanders and the Raiders, and I think the Vikings were mixed in there, where they were giving up like 40 to 50 yards a game on the ground. And I don't think they're prepared for the two-headed monster that is Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think that's been established by now. And I think really the Lions they're trying to make sure that they are firmly established in the NFC North, and they want to win the division. I think that's a big thing for them. It's been a long time since the Lions have won the NFC North, and I think that's really they want to win the NFC. They want to sweep the NFC North. That's kind of how I see things right now for them. So I'm taking the Lions.
Have they ever won the NFC North?
The Lions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in the actual like referred to as the NFC North, not like the NFC Central.
I don't believe there was a restructure on that one.
No,
I think that those 4 teams have been playing each other interdivisionally for a long time. So I think it was
It's one of the oldest divisions of
19
football.
1990.
Okay, 93 they won it because I know in I believe it was 90 as well. They were like one of the best teams in the NFL at one point. And then 93 they got beat by I think the Cowboys in the playoffs, and then that was the beginning of the triplets and the Cowboys dynasty.
Okay, thank you.
Gotcha. Okay, a couple comments rolling in here. For those of you that are new and don't follow us on all platforms, we are on Apple Music. We are on Spotify. If you want to catch these later after the fact, if it gets a little too late, go check out the actual post podcast over there. We post them every day, following days, so Thursdays, usually around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. They're up and running. Tez coming in with a comment here, bringing up some old shit. Hey, Corey with an E, still think Baker Mayfield is better than Jared Goff?
No, I don't, but he's better than Matt Stafford.
Dude, shit.
Snap. Matt Stafford coming off injury this week. Is he going to play this week?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, we'll get to the Rams game here in a little bit. Alan Rackers coming in. I think I know who this is. I think it's under a pseudonym here. Bobby, being a true football fan, needs to move his microphone outside when it gets to 20 degrees with his shirt off. Well, the fun thing is that it's off until we get our donation complete. We still need $115 donated to the Greater Cincinnati chapter of Parkinson's. So we don't have
Lakes
that.
chapter.
Great Lakes. Excuse me. Great Lakes chapter. We don't have that up in the
I'll
chat.
drop a link.
But we'll get that link dropped here shortly if anybody would like to donate. It's a cause near and dear to our hearts. So there's one caveat if you don't want to see me with my shirt on. Next game. Speaking of a team that was cold last week, we got the Titans taking things on the road down to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Jags just got absolutely rolled. Not pretty in any way, shape, or form. They just got completely dominated last week. Todd, Titans on the road, Jacksonville. He got.
Yeah, I mean the Titans got dominated by the Bucs last week, fellas. Don't sleep on that either. They were in command
one
of that
was
game.
worse. One was worse than the other.
Sure, but the Titans were also in command of that game 0% of the time. I'm taking the Jags at home here in a divisional matchup. I think that traditionally, when you get your ass kicked like the way that Jacksonville did, you come back the week after and take care of business. I think Corey made a valid point at the beginning of the podcast talking about how exposed Jacksonville was against San Francisco. I think that offense looked the worst that it's looked in the last 2 years. Really, the worst that it's looked in the last 2 years against San Francisco, and I think that's a fluke. Tennessee's they're reeling. Obviously, Will Levis is coming back to reality as a rookie quarterback, so I'm taking Jacksonville here.
Corey.
Yeah, I think the point that I made last week about Will Levis rang true. The biggest issue that I have with him right now is his ability, or rather his lack of ability to process the field in a timely fashion, which causes him to hold on to the ball, throwing it away, taking coverage checks. Hats off to the Titans offensive line, because he has the time to do that. And when somebody does break open, he is able to get it, like a D-Hop or somebody, which is great when he is able to do that. However, like I said last week, the most successful quarterbacks in the history of the game, at least over the last 20 years, whether it be a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, even now, if we look at it, Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, these guys, while yes, they can create off script, and that is kind of the new age of quarterback play, they are also near the top of the list in terms of release time and getting the ball out of their hands. It's because of their ability to process the field pre-snap, make reads off of the first couple of seconds after the snap, and then make a decision and execute. And I'm not saying Will Levis will never get there. This will be his third career start. Second, third, fourth or third?
Third start, fourth game.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
right, yeah, because technically, yeah.
To expect him to be there right now would be a little silly. But yeah, that's my biggest issue with him right now. And until they get there, I can't really ride with that. I'm going to ride with Trevor Lawrence and look at this as a nice get right game for the Jags.
Aaron,
What's the temperature right now on Lawrence?
I'm okay. I'm not like.
I mean, where are we at? Like,
I think I would
our balls off and we need to cool down, or
I'm wearing a thin
are we
jacket.
cold, or we need to warm up? Like,
I'm wearing a thin jacket on him right now.
Yeah, I'm not out on Lawrence by any means, but then I also look across the division here and I see like Stroud has, I would say, leapfrogged him. Like if I'm starting a franchise right now and I had to pick a quarterback, I would take Stroud over Lawrence.
I would say that right now you're correct, but I would also say that you're doing something that you said you didn't want to do, and you're being a victim of the moment in that. Because like I've seen rookie quarterbacks do really, really good and then not be that anymore.
Sure. I mean, part of that is if contract is involved, right? Like what's the most valuable contract?
Right. All right, let me ask you this question. You have one Super Bowl to play. One game to play. Let's just say it's a game and it decides, I don't know, whether or not you're homeless or not. Who's your quarterback?
Stroud, because he protects the ball.
Interesting. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, from a pedigree standpoint, you're talking about a guy who was drafted first and a guy who was drafted second. You know, like it's not like
pedigree's there. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm also like Trevor Lawrence, like highest, most touted prospect since Andrew Luck out of high school as well.
Sure.
National champion, multiple national champion, Heisman Trophy winner, first overall pick, playoffs already in his young career. To say maybe Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be a Mahomes or a Burrow or a Hurts or something like that, like I'm okay with that. I can live in that world. I think he is that like Rivers type player, like that. I mean, like Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. Like
sure.
Eli Manning, Hall of Famer.
That's why I honestly I was gauging the temperature. And the only reason I bring up Stroud is because I thought, you know, even in a perfect world situation, I was like, oh well, you know, they're still, you know, 2-3 years away until they're going to be contending this division because of where Lawrence was at. And I don't feel that way anymore. Yeah. So that gap is certainly closed. On the other side of the ball,
Jags, watch out, man.
I mean, on the other side of the ball for Tennessee, I mean, yeah, Levis has shown some moments, but he's also shown the fact that he's a rookie. Like there are certainly some throws that he's made where I'm like, ooh, that's an NFL quarterback. And they have no reason to not stick with him, you know, for the remainder of the season. They're not going anywhere. Tennessee, do the right thing. Just let Tannehill go. Just let him go. Maybe someone picks him up. Who knows? Yep. Just let him go.
So you got the Jags this week, Aaron?
I got the Jags this week.
All right. Yeah, I got the Jags as well. Want to address a comment in chat. Ariel coming in saying, what happened with Titans quarterback Tannehill? I believe his name was. He had more wide receivers this season, and he sucks, basically. Yeah, that's why he was benched. So Ryan Tannehill got benched for a rookie quarterback.
Well, he got injured, and the rookie came in and assumed the role. But yeah.
Also, yeah, like Ryan Tannehill, I was never really big on Ryan Tannehill. Like I think he's like Andy Dalton. Like and I think that'll be what he is for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I mean,
which is also a millionaire, by the way.
Yeah, he's a great backup QB if you need one. Like
we're 2 years removed from them being the 1 seed.
Yep.
But he didn't get them there. Derrick Henry got them there.
I mean, I get it. I'm not.
Ryan Tannehill protected the ball that season better than most quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he had 7 interceptions going into that season or going into that playoff game.
He didn't cause them to not get there.
Lou Anarumo broke him. Let's just call it what it is.
He wasn't vital in getting them there. He protected the ball, and that was about it. He didn't do anything to help move them.
I think AJ Brown was a little helpful as well.
Yeah, it was really weird that he just kind of got written off to a team that just competing for the Super Bowl last couple of years, but that's neither here nor there.
Went to it last year,
no shit. All right,
but no, his ship has sailed.
Yeah, Jags across the board. We are all in consensus on the last 3 picks. We might differ here. We might differ in the next game, guys. We've got the Chargers taking things on the road to Lambeau, take on the Packers. This could be a game where we're split. I know it seems kind of crazy, but we could be. I don't know. just the way that things have been going, I feel like somebody's gonna take a one off here. Todd, lead us off. Chargers on the road, Green Bay. Who you got?
Not going to be me. Just going to throw that out there. I'm taking the Chargers here. I'm taking quarterback play over coaching here. Obviously, LaFleur being the overall better head coach than Brandon Staley, but I'm going to take Justin Herbert over Jordan Love. Shotgun to my head. I'm just going to make that decision. Corey made a valid point. Keenan Allen was always open against Detroit. I don't see Green Bay giving him too many more fits than that. Obviously, they have Jair Alexander. He's an all-pro deep cornerback, but doesn't really make much of a difference to me when you can dump the ball off to Austin Eckler 25 times a game on the ground or in the air. I don't think Green Bay really has a response to that. I'm not hedging my bets on Green Bay. Mary was a little optimistic on them beating the Steelers. We really rode that out in the car together too. She was really banking on.
They were there, man,
and they were a touchdown.
It was literally right there. Like I'm literally sitting there, like the end of that game. I'm literally just standing in the living room, just watching this shit go down, and I'm like every game it comes down. Like we get the ball back with 2 minutes left, we can't get a first down. We have to punt and then rely on the defense. And then like literally the last 2 weeks, it's come down to a pick on the last play of the game. We've intercepted the ball and ended the game.
Yeah,
we'll get there. I was stressed out, anyways.
Yeah, I'm taking Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler over Jordan Love and Aaron Jones as well as AJ Dillon.
Corey.
Yeah, I'm not veering off here either. I've made my claim on Jordan Love since the beginning of the season. I will continue to maintain that feeling. Do I think that the Packers offense is going to be more productive this week than they were last week? Absolutely. Being at home versus going into Pittsburgh and against that defensive front, the Chargers defense is a wet paper bag. That said, I think that the Chargers offense is better than the Packers offense. I like what I'm getting out of the running game. Aaron Jones is banged up. Austin Eckler is healthy. Keenan Allen is better than all. I think Keenan Allen might have more yards than the top two Packers receivers combined at this point. I'm pulling that stat out of pure gut feeling and nothing else.
Feels right.
Yeah. What about the third? What about the third, Todd?
Dobbs has 6 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, he's the only option for them. He's like Christian Watson. Where the fuck are you?
They only throw it to him in the end. He'll get like 3 targets a game and a touchdown.
So
that would be Dobbs, Reed, and Wicks. I believe that's the 3 leading receivers for Green.
Is that a law firm?
Sounds like it.
Could be in your greater Wisconsin area.
Yeah.
I feel like if I just had a massive amount of parking tickets, they would help me out.
Yeah.
It's definitely an ambulance chasing law firm.
Are you or your loved ones the victim of cheese?
Yeah. Your neighbors steal your beer?
Hey, guy.
Give me a call, guy.
Whoa.
That's the friendliest settlement in court that you could ever see. Everybody walks in, everyone's shaking. It's a divorce. Okay. The dirtiest divorce you've ever seen.
Tez brings up a good point here. What is the weather in Green Bay on Sunday?
It's not that cold. It can't be.
Brisk, but not cold enough for Jordan Love to beat Justin
40
Herbert.
degrees, probably.
I think they call it outdoor fridge.
Yeah. Keep the beers in the fridge. That's where mine currently live, in Michigan.
Weather in Green Bay. Sunday.
Bobby's pulling it up. This is the research you don't get anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
The weather.
Rally Tal. Aaron.
Kickoff's at 1 o'clock.
Yes,
so
and
kickoff will be 45 degrees.
That's fine.
Dude, isn't it? Eugene, Oregon is around 45 to 50 every Saturday, right? I mean, Justin Herbert played through that for 3 years.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Fair enough.
He'll be fine.
This last game, the Chargers-Lions game, is like such a metaphor of the Justin Herbert experience and why I keep saying it's not his fault. I feel like Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting, where I'm like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Not your fault. And he's crying, and I get it because he just wants to win. Guys, the Chargers are the first team in NFL history to score a touchdown on 100% of their drives in the final 40 minutes of regulation and lose a game. It is nothing to do with Justin Herbert. He is doing everything he can out there to keep this team.
So you're still on the Herbert train?
I still think so. Yeah, I'm still on the Herbert train. I'm not on the Chargers train.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was really. Well, I was questioning his clutch ability.
I don't understand what more he can do in certain games.
I mean, you're referring to one game. Let's be clear about that.
Right. I still have watched enough of Justin Herbert to believe, and these are the games too where it's no problem. I think the Packers are not good. Obviously, I'm taking the Chargers here, but that's a stat right there where you're like, I don't really know it. And then it's everyone's like, why would Justin Herbert do this?
Well, so I think also like I think it also says something about the Lions defense, guys. Like I really do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That says something about you can't get a stop once. You can't stop them one time.
Yeah, and like you said, with the Chargers defense being like a wet paper bag. So if we're talking about ways that the Packers can win this, obviously they're at home. The Chargers defense ends up becoming like the Mario mushroom for every team they play. It's like, and then they get big and they play above their weight class.
Go.
And you're gonna see that out of the Packers this week. It's gonna be, somehow a barn burner for two teams that are, not really going to be in contention this year. But yeah, the Chargers are I think win this one, no problem.
Yeah, I'm not going to fade you guys this week.
44 is the over under on that.
I like the over.
I'm going to take the Chargers here. What's the spread?
Chargers -3.
See, like this is a game, like, we talk about this consistently week in and week out. You cannot always take the favorites, and I really honestly see this as a game where the Packers can win this. I like this seems like a game this week where it could go the other way, and it's going to be something that we're not expecting. Chargers come in on the road. They start in a lackluster fashion. Keenan Allen just doesn't get it going early, and it's just a dogfight. It comes down to a field goal, and I can see the Packers I'm taking the Chargers here, but I would not be surprised if the Packers won. I'm just going to
love the over. Love the over.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a shootout. It's two shitty defenses, and it's just, it's going to go from there. So, next game, guys, we have the newly into the MVP conversation, CJ Stroud, at home, taking on somebody who used to be considered for an MVP, Kyler Murray. Cardinals on the road in Houston. Aaron, who you got?
I was on the Cardinals bandwagon last week. Unfortunately, it's a pretty short trip on this wagon. I'm going to take CJ Stroud and the Texans here. I mean, they're rolling right now, and I just think they're going to be able to put up points at such a clip that the Cardinals aren't going to be able to compete with it. I was part of the reasons for picking the Cardinals last week was being that down on the Falcons, as well as and we weren't sure if James Conner was going to be back, and he was, and he was pretty effective too. So it was really cool. I mean, like 11 months later to see Kyler, he looked like Kyler. I think they're going to be frisky. The problem with what the Cardinals are up against right now is they're going to play themselves out of a good pick. I think they're going to win a couple games here. I don't think this will be one of them. But they really were in the conversation for, the number one pick. And I don't know that they're going to get there now. But also it's a new regime. And I think they really want to see what they have in Kyler. He seemed really motivated in that game too, guys. I don't know if you saw, that 3rd and long play where he ran around for, what felt like a minute and a half. And yeah, right. That was really cool to see. And I think the game is more exciting with Kyler out there. I know we're not giant Cardinals fans here. It's not so much that we're not fans of them. It's just that we don't trust them.
Coming in a week and a half, it's just that you can no longer trust them. So
right.
Corey's logic has not failed us in the last.
It hasn't. No,
in this podcast,
and I used it to my advantage last week. I looked at the calendar and I was like, "Wait, it's not Thanksgiving yet."
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go with Houston here. I mean, honestly, guys, I really started hearing the CJ Stroud MVP talk after the game. I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit. I'm like, okay, I kind of took a closer look at it. Who who else is? I mean, like Mahomes. I know they didn't have a game last week, so it's easy to just kind of forget.
Yeah, but he hasn't played great.
So
I
that,
think
that was kind of me getting like I wanted to get into this point, Aaron. Thank you for bringing it up. Like I was kind of waiting for this game to dive into it. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit when we were discussing the Bengals, but is CJ Stroud a serious MVP candidate? I believe that he is, but I want to hear from you guys on like your thoughts on the matter. I mean, we're at a point where he's taken a team last year that had 2 wins all season, and now they're 500. He's thrown for over 800 yards in the last 2 games against 2 really good teams. And he's carrying this team to wins that not a lot of people can do. So I just kind of what's your thoughts on it? So Corey, go ahead and take it away.
I think if they win the division, it's a no-brainer. Like he has to be the MVP in my opinion. Like when you dissect what that award is, it's typically a best quarterback award. He's playing just as well as anybody right now. A fun statistic for you: there's been one other time that a quarterback in professional football a rookie quarterback has led the league in passing yards per game, and that was in 1939. And that quarterback averaged 120 passing yards per game. CJ Stroud is averaging over 230 passing yards a game right now as a rookie, which is insane. He keeps making me look so smart, and I just thank you. Appreciate you, CJ. It's night and day between him and anybody else that's been drafted in the last 2 years, let alone just last year in the quarterback position. He makes that team better. And I think he is getting some fantastic coaching. I think he's doing also fantastic things outside of the hash marks that are allowing him to kind of assert himself as the leader. And whether that's a text thread with all the wide receivers and running backs, whether that's a nightly dinner with the offensive lineman at his home, things like that are kind of establishing him as more than just a rookie and somebody that is, pun intended, taking this team by the horns and leading them into contention at this point. That said, in this matchup, are we okay with me going on my matchup pick, or we want to keep going on?
Yeah, no, roll. Go ahead, roll into it.
In this matchup, like, don't be surprised if this is like a field goal type game, because I think with Kyler back, this team is a little bit different. But I think that this, and I think Houston really got up for that game against the Bengals. I think that was a big game for them, and they answered the bell. All credit goes to them and their coaching staff for coming out and being ready to play. And I think that the Cardinals feel good right now. They got their quarterback back. They're riding some momentum. It's going to be a good game. And I think 5 points, I think they might be able to cover that, to be honest with you.
So wait, what's the spread? Who's
5?
Houston,
Arizona
5.
plus
Houston
-5.
-5.
Yeah.
Arizona plus 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hitting that spread all day.
I would think it would be larger just based on the way that Stroud has played and the way that everyone is kind of giving him his flowers, deservedly so. But I think that I think you have to take the Texans here. I'm going to continue my law of averages and just not take the Cardinals all season. Worked out so far, and give me the Texans.
All right, fair enough. Ariel coming to comment: the Patriots should go for the Cardinals. That way they can get a better pick. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams fighting for some good picks at the end of this season.
The Patriots might get a better pick than the Cardinals.
Patriots and the Cardinals are definitely going to be teams vying for it. But Todd, I'll let you kind of roll into it next. Aaron and Corey have the Texans. Who do you have this week?
Yeah, I got the Texans, and I think the MVP conversation is fair for CJ Stroud based on what his impact is to the game itself, right? I mean, I think a part of being an MVP candidate is you're the centerpiece of winning games. And you look at the last 2 weeks for CJ Stroud, take a week out. The week prior to that, he is the reason why they've won games or been within reach of winning games. It is what it is with Houston. I mean, I think that we're in a position now where they're kind of the sexiest team to talk about in the NFL because of
Sure.
the type of wins that they've had, and the last time that Houston had this type of success, people don't want to talk about it anymore based on who it was centered around. And CJ Stroud's a good person to have this type of conversation about, based on Corey, off of what you said of, his leadership off the field. And D'Amico Ryans should be fucking eating this up right now. As a first year head coach, and you're getting this type of publicity, like, this is best case scenario for you. And you're in a division where things are pretty up for grabs. And the AFC right now, as tight as it is, and you look at Houston's schedule to round out the year, they could win 10 games based on the way that they're playing right now. And that could get you in the playoffs. So
wow.
I'm taking Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I also have the Texans here, Braz. I don't get me wrong. I think Kyler Murray is still a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Sure.
I think he's definitely not a guy that's going to fall out of it after his contract's up, which is it the end of this season or is it?
Oh no, dude, he's got 6 more years after.
Yeah, he just got that massive extension.
He got an 8-year extension last year. That was the whole
My sincerest apologies, guys. Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. They did extend him out, and we all kind of questioned it. But
also the film requirements that were in the contract that later got redacted and
redacted.
Yeah, we didn't say that. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's just he's limited on how many hours he can put into COD each week. I don't know, but
yeah. Did you do your film? Okay, you get Call of Duty time. Good boy.
I mean, I would want that in my contract because I thoroughly myself enjoy playing Call of Duty. So, but I also I don't want to neglect work. So it's obviously a nice give and take there. But anyways, yeah, I think CJ Stroud,
man.
Yeah. Boss is a big fan of Rally Tile Sports. So.
But no, I think CJ Stroud is definitely in the MVP conversation. I think he's had one heck of a season. As Tez had mentioned previously in the podcast, in the chat, he's played much better than any of us had ever anticipated this season. We all thought he was going to be good, but we didn't know he was going to be this good this soon. And he showed it this week against Cincinnati. He played with a lot of poise. He showed up against a really solid defense and made some great throws at the end of the day. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. So, he came back into his his home state and balled out, and he's been doing that every week. I don't see any reason in which they don't take care of business against the Cardinals. It's gonna be Texans all day for me. Until I see otherwise.
Corey looks like he's having an epiphany, and then
is that a blizzard?
It is.
Oh,
that's a good deal.
I am so okay. So what kind of blizzard do we have here, Corey?
It's Reese's and Snickers.
And Snickers. Wow. All right, real quick. What's everyone's blizzard of choice?
Oh, see, I've been back and forth.
I'm a strawberry cheesecake man myself.
Whoa, wild card pick there.
Oh, it's so good.
So I'm back and forth between the Butterfinger Oreo and the Brownie Oreo.
Butterfinger Oreo.
Actually,
Butterfinger Oreo.
I'm not a Butterfinger guy.
This is Butterfinger in here.
So, have you guys have ever had like the brownie batter blizzard from?
It's peanut butter
amazing.
Snickers.
And if you add Oreos to the brownie batter blizzard, it's fucking incredible. But also the Butterfinger Oreo combo, legendary. They do have a Snickerdoodle blizzard that's seasonal right now. That's amazing. I've had a lot of DQ lately, so don't.
Boy, I went to the fucking carton of ice cream right now.
I went to the gym this morning. I earned this shit. I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning. I earned this.
Atta boy.
It's Christmas time, so I grabbed some.
What was on the docket today, Cor? What'd you do?
Get a little elliptical in there, and I get some dumbbell row going. A little plate bench press, 50 reps of that at a
45-pound weight. Just
getting after it, baby.
Hell
getting after it. What else were we doing? Calf raises.
Hell yeah!
So you kind of did like a whole body type deal today.
Don't forget about your calves. Don't forget about your calves, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't ever skip leg day, chat.
I just get after it.
Nobody here at Rally Tile Sports skips leg day.
I do it so that I can eat these.
If you ain't walking around with ham hocks But on your thighs, you're fucking up.
What the hell are you
That's all
doing?
I'm telling you.
Josh
did
coming in with a comment. Here's M&M and Oreo is his Blizzard of choice.
That's a good one.
That's also a good combo.
I'm basically trying to be a mix of Saquon Barkley and Jason Kelsey at this point.
Sexiest
right
man
there with
alive,
you.
but you also want huge quads.
Yeah, but like
I'm right there with you.
ice cream's awesome too. You know?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We did a chili cook-off this past weekend. It was like 8 different
yeah.
chilies, 9 different chilies that were in it. So I
You're-
literally
sorry-
did like an
sorry
extra
for your
half
butthole.
hour on the treadmill
How
that
much?
day.
How much time do you spend on the toilet?
Huh?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Honestly, surprisingly little. The next day was the opposite of what you would have expected.
Wow, just
A rough-
good. Just nothing. Just
There's
nothing
nothing.
coming
Cheese on
out.
top.
I would
Lot
like
of
to-
cheese on top.
Yeah, those damn Fritos. First place, by the way, no big deal. Just throwing it out there.
I don't know.
You got
Boy.
first place?
Well, my wife did. I did the meat though. I
Of
did
course,
the
you provided the meat.
I did the
You're
chuck
so
roast and the
distributor.
sausage.
All right, well, we're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
have to have
delicious.
some of this chili at some point, whenever the four of us can finally get together.
That's a good meat
Oh,
combo.
it's
for
really
chili.
good.
That's a good meat combo for chili.
It's a great meat.
Nice fatty chuck roast. I like it.
All right, we've had our fun. We had our nice segue on the food. We got our savory. We got our sweet. Now let's get in to the Cowboys on the road versus the Panthers. This is neither savory nor sweet. This is going to be an ass whooping. Does anybody have any comments on this game? I'll just kind of
Is
throw it out.
this the liver and onions of the Sunday menu?
I would just say
I love that.
Todd's
Love
face.
that.
I would just say the last time that we said this
Bobby has
resulted
no
in-
shirt for that.
That's why I don't have a shirt on, folks.
Just saying.
The
I'm
Arizona
not saying the Panthers
Cardinals.
are going to win. I'm not taking the Panthers. I'm taking the Cowboys. But the last time we said this,
If the Panthers beat the Cowboys, I get my shirt back on.
Nah.
Nope. I tried. I tried.
Hey, don't look now, but Prescott's playing really well.
he is.
He really is.
MVP
He played some good
candidate?
football last couple weeks, and
CeeDee Lamb with a clean 500 yards in his last 3.
Yeah.
That-
he says he's the best receiver in football. Do we agree?
No.
he says that about himself.
Yes.
He's an NFL wide receiver.
Yes.
Checks out.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, he's
I,
not
I,
the best. He's not.
I think he has an argument, but I want your guys.
It's the same thing as Joe Flacco saying, like, what do you want him to say?
Whoa.
Like, no, I just mean, like, I have no problem with any professional athlete being like, I'm the best. Like, I get that bravado, that confidence that
Okay.
you want to exude. I don't agree with it. But I will say, I think of him differently today than I did at the beginning of the season and where he is in my like power rankings of wide receivers.
All right, that's fair.
Tony Pollard, where the fuck are you?
Oh my God. Did you guys see the meme or I don't know who cut it together, but it was the greatest thing ever. Someone did the Office Space scene with Milton and the cake. And it's like, now Milton, pass it. Make sure you pass it. Everyone's going to get a piece. And it's just touchdown, 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 touchdown. And then it ends with him being the only person without a piece of cake, which is, it was
The
amazing.
one that's like, I did my part. I did my part. And it gets to Tony Pollard. I didn't do shit.
Yeah. He's sucked. He sucked this year.
Corey, Todd, you guys got anything to add to this? I'm assuming everybody's got the Cowboys this week. I don't really think we need to really dive into it too terribly much. But anybody got any
Take them,
comments on this
boys.
game?
Panthers are going to suck next year, too.
Yeah, no first round pick.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, I put everybody down for the Cowboys. Even though I don't see all the picks in here, I imagine we're all taking the Cowboys. If you're taking the Panthers, give me whatever you're on, and I'll see if we vibe. So
Let's share.
the next game I don't know. Maybe we'll be split on. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I was very wrong about the last time I said this, so I'm not even gonna say that this time. We have the Giants taking things on the road against the Commanders. I think this is a game that could go either way. Maybe.
Nah,
I'm trying to add some excitement here, guys.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, what you got?
I got the Commanders here, boys.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Sam Howell leads the league in passer yards, guys.
that's insane.
I'm like, again, I was texting with my buddies, like, Sam Howell's comp coming into the NFL was Baker. And I'm watching Sam Howell, and I'm like, this is exactly what I thought Baker was going to be. Not necessarily leading the league in passing, but just watching him play. I've been very, very impressed. The Giants are the worst team in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst franchise
Yeah.
currently.
The argument can be made. I don't know if it's them or the Raiders, but
Who's in a worse spot?
no,
The Giants.
The
right
Giants,
now?
100%.
There's no one.
They just paid Daniel Jones 160 million for one.
And Saquon. Which
Realistically,
Saquon's
they are
really good, but I would
they
trade that
with those two
motherfucker.
contracts. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Boys, we got anything else to add here?
Nope.
I don't think this is a game.
I'm just so glad this is not fucking Sunday Night Football.
Ugh, and wouldn't that have been like oh yeah, obviously. Well, we picked this one.
And I sincerely apologize, guys. The Giants Commanders was the last 1:00 game. Buccaneers 49ers. Oh no, Giants Commanders. I was right. So Giants Commanders last 1:00 game. We're gonna circle back here. We're gonna talk about Steelers Browns.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So obviously, both the Steelers and the Browns coming off close wins last week. Browns beat the Ravens. Steelers beat the Packers. It was an anxiety-filled week for both Aaron and I, watching our teams, bring the victories out last week. Browns are in a tough spot. Deshaun, I don't think anybody can question his toughness at this point. He played with a sprained ankle and a broken shoulder for the 2/3 of that game, so more than 2/3 of it. The guy went out there and did his all, regardless of how you feel about his
adrenaline's a hell of a drug, man.
Yeah. I mean,
and
regardless of how you feel about what
drugs,
happened to him off the field, the guy went out there and gave you everything that he had and then some. So, and then as far as the Steelers are concerned, the offense actually carried the Steelers through this game, whether you like that or not. Yeah, the Steelers defense did not look good against the Packers.
You gave up less than 20 points.
The Steelers defense couldn't really stop them. When you actually look,
I mean,
I watched the whole game. The offense actually put 20 points on the board in the first half.
And then what?
And then the defense got into shape second half, sir. Okay, first half, nothing was happening.
I'm just saying, you're not going to win many games putting up that many points. I would not look at that box score and be like, man, that offense was firing on all cylinders.
For us, it was. I mean, you have to compare what we've done all season to what we did last week.
No, it's just running the ball. Just running the ball. You can't say that they threw the ball well.
No, and I'm not saying they threw the ball well, but they like Najee Harris looked great last week.
He did. He had a good week. Yeah, on my bench.
Yeah.
And he's, I think it's been a little too early for us to write Najee Harris off. I think he still has a lot left in the tank. He's still a young guy, and I think him and Jalen Warren make a really good duo in the backfield. But it's just establishing that run early so that way we don't have to use the pass because it fucking sucks.
Yeah, your quarterback is not good, Bob.
No, he's not. And I saw something earlier today where somebody was like, why don't the Steelers trade for Kirk Cousins in the offseason?
What do you think about that, Aaron?
I would love it. I think I would.
Isn't he just a free agent?
Yeah, you don't have to trade for him.
We wouldn't have to trade for him. We sign him. Sorry. Somebody said that the Vikings were going to sign Josh Dobbs and then get rid of Cousins, which I don't think is the case. I think the Vikings are going to try to bring.
If I'm the Steelers, the way that I hear about it from the entire fan base is, let's get a look at this without Matt Canada holding the play sheet. He's not costing you anything. You can build that roster around him, as opposed to then going out and having to put so much money into that position for Kirk. And also, I don't know what Kirk's going to look like, post injury like this.
Does he
Sure.
play?
It's really weird because Pickett has had some great fourth quarters, and if he could,
His passer rating in the fourth quarter is one of the highest in the NFL.
yeah, I would if I would not cut the riptide just yet.
I agree with you, Aaron. I don't think it's time to do that.
No, he's costing you next to nothing, and I'm probably all but certain that they'll probably get rid of Canada after this year. So let's see what that looks like after
Before
the fact.
make any major
This is
moves.
the third year in a row we've said that about Matt Canada. For whatever,
Yeah,
it's worth.
that's
You
true.
know what I mean, like
That's true. I mean, Mike Tomlin might be loyal to a fault. I'm honestly surprised because Warren actually ended up starting this game, this past game for the Steelers.
Jalen Warren, yeah.
That's not something Tomlin does.
And had less carries than Najee Harris.
Yeah, and you can chalk that up to game script. And actually, Najee didn't look bad.
Both average over 5 yards a carry. However, Jalen Warren averaged 6.7 yards.
Jalen Warren is easily the best. Like, just
he had 20 more yards on one less.
Visually,
carry.
you can see it. Like, he's the better player.
He's better. I think Najee's a good, serviceable backup, like a third down back.
Aaron, who you got this week? Steelers, Browns.
I got to take a second just to talk here first. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't explain to you the highs and the lows of the last 72 hours, guys. I was ready to come into this podcast and give you 12 reasons why the Browns were going to come into this game and show you who they are and kick the shit out of the Steelers.
You can go just fuck right off. That will never happen. Tez says Matt Canada. That I know that's a joke.
I hope. I mean, yeah. Listen, you can say anything you want about Deshaun Watson. That's completely fine. I don't love the cheering for injury shit. I get it, kind of. I still don't think it's. I still don't love it. But at the same time, I don't think the Browns have put themselves in a position where I'm going to expect pity out of anybody. Speaking directly to Browns fans, man, this fucking hurts, guys. Like it's a bummer. All we've wanted since 1999 is a team to compete, to make a playoff run. All we want is a home playoff game. Like that's what we want. And we finally were in a position to actually control our own destiny walking into week 11 this far into the season, with the Ravens having a bye later. So, you take care of the games that you're supposed to. You can win this division and get yourself a home playoff game. Now, it is a little bit funny to me that we can talk out of both sides of our mouth and say Deshaun Watson has been terrible, and also now that the Browns season is over. I do not subscribe to that. There's going to be a real uphill battle here, and I like the fact that they're actually turning to DTR to play this game, because he's actually going to get a full week to prep as the starter rather than tap him on the shoulder 90 minutes before kickoff and say, guess what, bub, you're about to get, your NFL cherry popped here and play an NFL game. And you saw the difference in that, right? Like the Browns lost to the Ravens 28-3 at home. This team plays amazing at home. And they came back and were able to beat the Ravens this past week. So it wasn't a talent discrepancy to me, but between those two games. Steelers luck out again, man. They've had 6 of 9 games at home. They have not outgained anybody ever this season, and they're 6-3. And now they're walking into a position where they're going to play a rookie quarterback on his second career start for a team that I'm sorry, Bob. Like I've never, and Steelers fans agree with this. The Steelers aren't good. They're not good. They're just winning games, and there is something to be said about that. Like we love. I don't love Mike Tomlin, but I do have a lot of respect for everything that he's done in Pittsburgh for a very, very long time. But man, it is so fucking frustrating to watch what seems to be an evaporated season. Last year, of course, I can't control that. That's suspension. That's the NFL coming down saying this is the penalty. But I also, like everyone's just going to keep saying, oh, it's the worst trade in history. Fine. It's injury. Like Deshaun Watson wants to play. He got 3 different medical opinions to say, I'll get shot up in the arm. I'll do what I have to do to keep playing. And they're like, dude, if you get hit in the same spot again, your shoulder will crumble. You need surgery. It's wild that from Sunday, the high that we were all feeling to somehow come back and win that game, to wake up today to season. Like I was worried about the ankle. I wasn't worried about the shoulder, and this is a separate injury from the one that he had earlier in the year that kept him out. But yeah, of course there's concern when you're going to devote that much capital, not only from the draft, but from the cap as well. And here's what's going to happen. He's going to go through surgery, and we're going to come back next year and go, well, he's got to shake the rust off. I can't do that. I think the Browns, what I was going to say coming into this game, sans anything, Deshaun, was that this was going to be a big game for them to avenge Nick Chubb and to mark their stamp on this division and say that they are, we have finally arrived with a roster. This defense is so legitimate, guys. Obviously, it looked like a track meet on paper, pick 6, and muffed a punt at the 5-yard line. The Ravens essentially scored 17 points on offense. I still think this defense has a lot to play for. I still think Myles Garrett is out there finally trying to get his Defensive Player of the Year. I'm taking the Browns in this game out of sheer willpower alone, in the same way that we were talking about the Raiders, in the same way I was talking about the Cardinals last week. I think this team rallies around this situation and plays their fucking ass off at home. I was this close to buying tickets like last night. It was like $200 a pop. I was like, I need to be in the stadium for this. I'm kind of glad I didn't, of course. I am taking the Browns in this game for the sole reason of the fact that I still don't think the Steelers are good.
Fuck yeah, dude! I love that passion.
Dude, you got me jacked up, bro.
Dude, I am rock hard right now. Holy shit! That was
well articulated.
Outside of who we're talking about, you said that as good as well as anybody could express their feelings right now. So I seriously, I legitimately mean this when I say this. I really appreciate what you just said. I do. I think that to put your balls on the table like that takes fucking massive Randy Marsh style stones. That's what you owe. You do. And I do. I really appreciate that you just shared all of that. And fuck it, I'll ride the wave with you, baby. I'm taking the Browns. I'm taking the fucking Browns based off of I was going to pick the Steelers until about 6 minutes ago. And
Vegas has the Browns as a 1-point favorite for what it's worth.
And what you just said, dude, if you ever need somebody to kill someone, I'm here for it. I'll fucking do it. I'll do it. No, seriously though. Look, at the end of the day, and I'm not gonna shit on the Steelers too much here. I do it a little bit every week, and I like to do it, but I'm not gonna really get into that. I will say that Jalen Warren averaged more yards on the ground than Kenny Pickett did on the air per completion. That's my shit on the Steelers offense for this week. But this is gonna be a fucking dogfight of a football game, fellas.
32.5 is the over-under, guys.
I mean, this is going to be
smashing the over.
Okay, this is going to be stones on the table. Fucking 110% blue collar defense from both sides of the ball.
Yep.
And dude, as just a football. I'm staying the fuck away from Cleveland on Sunday, boys. It's going to be so crazy up there, and I Garrett, Aaron, again, I do. I appreciate what you just shared, and I think if more people shared their sentiment the way that you just shared it, there would be a lot less of people like Corey and I just shitting on the rest of the people talking about how these scenarios have gone down, just making fun of other people, kind kind of riding through this wave, because that was very well said.
Thank you,
Corey.
Yeah, I'm just struggling a little bit with this game in the fact that I absolutely am sold on the Browns defense. I've been sold on them. I think since week 1, it was like, oh, was it a rain game? And then you see it again the next week. It's like, well, nope, wasn't the rain. Those guys are good. And they've continued to demonstrate that. I feel the same way inversely about the Steelers offense at this point. I was kind of chastising the Steelers defense earlier in the season. And I think that, Bobby, you've touted them. And at first I questioned it openly. And we've looked at like some things about like time of possession, for instance, is one of the things that we've talked about for this Steelers offense and the lack thereof. And that being the reason why the Steelers defense is kind of hung out to dry, rather. It's not that the Steelers defense isn't good. It's that they're on the field too much. I'm going to go with the Steelers in this game. And I don't feel good about it. It's flip a coin. So I'm going to go with the team that has their starting quarterback. But the Steelers are the Vikings of last year. I want to be very clear about that. They're winning games. They might be in the playoffs. They're not a good football team. And I'm okay with being open about that, because the reason why I feel good about that is because good football teams have good quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett's not a good quarterback. I get the fourth quarter shit. I get that. Like, that's cool. But good quarterbacks aren't just good 25% of the time. They're good most of the time. And that's just where I'm at on that guy right now. Mike Tomlin, phenomenal head coach, is dragging them to a winning season right now. TJ Watt dragging this team to a winning season. All in spite of an offensive coordinator and a quarterback that fail to execute most of the time. Steelers, close one, bloodbath. Gonna watch. Absolutely going to watch on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of your must-watch games of the week, especially for those of us that are in, fans of the AFC
The Rust
North.
Belt, yeah.
I mean, this is a game, where we're going to see some big implications happen tomorrow night, with the Bengals Ravens, and then obviously some larger implications happen on Sunday at 1:00 with the Steelers and the Browns. This Browns defense, in my perspective as a Steelers fan, is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
This is arguably the best defense in the NFL. Like,
statistically, they are.
No questions.
Yeah.
No questions in any way, shape, or form. Myles Garrett, hands down, defensive player of the year right now. I don't think anybody's going to sit here and argue that.
And that's the reason why I'm still sticking with the Browns in this game, is because the knock on the Browns all year has been bad quarterback play. So that hasn't changed.
Right.
Like, they're 6-3 despite of that. And I really have, in the last 12 hours, somehow gone through the stages of grief. I was fucking angry. I really I was
it has been about 12 hours. I walked out of the meeting. I was like, holy shit.
The depression that hits immediately after that, you're like, well, fuck, the season's gone. The bargaining of, can I get on the phone with Tom Brady? Someone called Tom Brady. and the denial of it. And then honestly, right now, I am feeling the form of acceptance, because you can turn yourself down and say, all right, the season's over. Or I can look at the fact that you're looking at a, once in a lifetime defense who is playing out of their minds, who play even better at home. Not to mention, the Steelers always have our number in Pittsburgh, especially in primetime. This is going to be a 1:00 game. Eyes are still going to be on this game, but there aren't going to be as many as there were before.
Oh. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
What's your path to victory here, Bob?
Well, the
Running
big
through
thing,
this brick fucking wall. I'm just kidding.
Fuck yeah!
No, you're absolutely right. I think the big thing for the Steelers to be successful in Cleveland this week is to get that running game going. I mean, the Ravens running game last week, the Ravens only let up 100, I think it was 107 yards, maybe 110 rushing all game. Where the Ravens made their money was passing. And guess what the Steelers can't do? They can't pass the ball. They suck. When it comes to throwing the ball in yards after catch and moving the chains, that is not one of their strong suits. And with the Cleveland defense giving up 100 yards to the Ravens, run offense, it doesn't bode too well for us. I think the Ravens have a pretty decent, run game when you consider Lamar and the tandem of running backs that they have there.
I'm sorry, Bob, but your path to victory, not to answer it for you too, but your path to victory is sucking the life out of the crowd, like in the same way of the last game where obviously you guys were at home, where it fed into the crowd, where it's a pick six first play of the game. And I'm not saying first play of the game, but something that happens immediately early that takes the life out of the crowd is in my opinion, because they are going to be aggressive.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, it's one of those things where even back in week 2, when the Steelers played the Browns, I faded the Steelers and took the Browns. Like, when they played the Ravens, I faded the Steelers and somehow they won, and
you got the Steelers this week.
And this week I want to do the
Love
same. That. I really do. I want to fade the Steelers and take the Browns because it's not often that you see a team in the AFC North sweep, and the Steelers don't have the type of team to sweep. They don't. They just don't. They're winning games this year somehow. I mean, the fact that they played the Packers last week and it came down to one play at the end of the game, like, yikes, right?
Yeah,
like this is such a coin flip. But I have faded the Steelers against the AFC North this entire season. I'm not going to do it this week. I'm going to take the Steelers over the Browns and just bank on the fact that the Steelers defense is going up against a very inexperienced quarterback, and they take advantage. I'm going with my boys this week. I'm not hedging my happiness, and I'm taking the Steelers.
What if they all go split? Because that's the only
Bengals
way.
have done it the last 2 seasons and won the division.
But I'm saying all of them. So the Browns, the Browns have lost to the Ravens and have beat the Ravens. They beat the Bengals. I would expect them to lose to the Bengals now, especially in week 18.
Yeah.
If the Browns beat the Steelers here, they're, in my opinion, on that road, and that puts it the same way. Now, obviously, I need the Bengals to beat the Ravens this week for that to happen. But if you're going to get every team in the playoffs, the Browns are still, even with the factor of Deshaun being out, are sitting at a 63% chance of making the playoffs right now, because you have games against you got games against the Jets, you got games against the Bears. We've already done the hardest part of our schedule.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can move off of it now. It's just it's been
it's
no. I mean this the
NFL
like we said, man. Like Aaron, I mean, we definitely appreciate you rearranging your plans as well. I don't know how big those plans were, but we appreciate you being here and being here.
I wanted to be,
because this is a big week for us, for most of the obviously us on the panel, but listeners as well, because we're all from regionally the same area. AFC North showdown this week. We've got Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and there's a lot of implications this week.
There's gonna be some
but
blood
the
on the
Bengals
grass,
need
it's
to
the
win.
Implication.
Yeah, there's a lot of implications this week. The Bengals need to win. The Steelers Browns can go either way, and I think both teams are still somewhat in it. But I think the Bengals Ravens game is definitely the bigger game of the AFC North showdown this week. Although Steelers Browns is still important.
Yeah, walking into this 2-game stretch of Ravens Steelers, we knew we needed to split. You got the one out of the way. That's great. But now with Deshaun being out, this one again,
even
not
more
to,
important.
not to bury the Steelers even more, but of the inferior of the two,
Do it.
this is now the more important one.
Strike him down with
No,
your
I mean,
anger.
you're absolutely right. I mean, you guys beat the better team. You guys beat the better team. Now you got to go in there and execute against a team that's not as good.
And a rookie quarterback, though.
If I sat here and argued that the Steelers were a better team than the Ravens, I would just not. I shouldn't even be on here.
I don't know if there's any team in the AFC that you could necessarily argue is better than them right now.
It's true.
No. I mean, the Ravens are top tier right now. Lamar Jackson's playing some really good football.
Agreed.
But that Browns defense is just fucking insane.
Isn't it crazy? And we're going to get to another team that's kind of interesting in that at AFC, and we can use this to segue maybe. The AFC, while we thought it was going to be ultra competitive, the way in which it has become ultra competitive, and no, we won't get to this as the Sunday night game. Sorry, but there are a lot of teams that are rising up right now.
There are a lot of teams
that are. There are a lot of teams, some nasty teams,
Sorry, that's just kind of where the vibes went.
You have the Colts and the Raiders at 5-5.
Yeah, the Broncos have won 3 straight.
It's wild. So in a way, it kind of is what we thought at the beginning of the year.
They are who we thought they were.
Like we
let
knew
them
it was going to be ultra competitive. Not in the same way. Like we didn't think Aaron Rodgers was going to get injured in the first 2 seconds of the game.
But
that's
why I just sit here. It's wide fucking open, Joe. Just take it this year. It's wide open. There's no one beating the shit out of anybody. It's there. Just win it all. God damn it. Get healthy, T. Get healthy.
Okay. All right.
Jesus. We're all juiced up.
We've had our AFC North soapbox. We got about 20 minutes to get through 5 games.
Easy.
Rapid fire. We've got the Buccaneers taking things on the road to San Francisco.
49ers.
Todd. Aaron.
49ers.
Corey.
Tampa sucks. Give me the Niners.
Okay. I figured that would
Tampa
be
put themselves, or I'm sorry, San Francisco put themselves back on the, hey, we're actually contenders.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to save this game for the next one. We're going to move on to the Seahawks taking things on the road to the Rams. Corey, who you got? Seahawks.
Yeah, Stafford's back. That's great. The Seahawks are not showing me anything to think that I should take them as seriously as I thought I should. I think the Niners win this division pretty handedly moving forward. If you told me the Seahawks went 500 for the rest of the year, I wouldn't be shocked. That said, I think they win on Sunday. I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
Aaron.
Yeah, outside of the Seahawks beating the Lions in week 2, they haven't really done a whole lot. Corey, I agree with you. You got wins against the Panthers, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Browns with PJ Walker, and of course this Commanders in the last week. Their defense is not good. But that being said, I don't really trust this, like the Rams home field advantage. I don't know what kind of health we're going to get out of Stafford. But what I do know is Stafford is actually going to get the ball to Puka and Cooper. But I actually was coming into this saying I was going to take the Seahawks. I'm listening to myself. I'm going to take the Rams.
So here's how important we talk about why we pick teams and how important these games are. This is a very important game for the Seahawks. And let me tell you why. Here's who they got next after the Rams. Niners at home, Cowboys on the road, Niners on the road, Eagles at home. That's a fucking gauntlet, dude. That is a rough fucking stretch. That's a lot. This is a big game for the Seahawks in order to just because I mean, what do you win one of those probably?
30-13 week 1.
That's fucking like you'll be set like after the next 5 weeks. The Seahawks are 6-3 right now. They could be 7-6, 8-5. That's bananas. Bananas. Big game for the Seahawks.
Todd, who you got?
Yeah, Corey just took my whole point, so go fuck yourself.
You have to buy me a Blizzard.
But yeah, I was just going to go down the road of if they don't win this week, even playoff contention for Seattle starts looking just a little bit more gray for them. I still see them going 9-8 and them being able to get into a wild card spot. But I mean, this is a fucking tough road for Seattle down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
It's and
last
and
3 or nothing.
No, but you get four in a row where if you don't win this one, and you're 0-5 in that stretch, and then you got to win 3 straight, and that's how you get in. And who knows what Minnesota's going to be? And I mean, there's the NFC West the NFC is just kind of funky right now. But yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks this week because I just think that they'll be able to figure out a way to get a quick easy dub.
I'm going to continue to fade my guy Pete Carroll. One of my favorite coaches of all time. I'm taking the Rams this week. I think, I think Tez makes a great point. Familiar foe, whole team back this week and healthy. I like a healthy Matt Stafford better than I like a healthy Geno Smith. And I think the Rams and that young offense are going to actually get things done on the road in LA. So, which is not really necessarily a home game because LA is just kind of a fake city when it comes to sports. So, all right, boys. Got an NFC East matchup, or I'm sorry, AFC East matchup, excuse me. Jets taking things on the road to the Bills. Who wants to lead this one off?
I'll take it. Or
All
Aaron,
right.
Ted.
Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, go right ahead. Dude,
Yeah.
Honestly, Aaron, whatever you want to do. Seriously.
I'm taking the Bills. I think you are too. I'm not going to take. I am not going to just put anything on Zach Wilson ever again. I think the Bills are, of course, playing under their weight class still a little bit, but at the same time, I think we kind of predicted this. Listen. Is it a get-right game? Probably not. The Jets' defense is still really good, but I think the Bills are going to play very, very angry in this game, and I think they're going to take it out on Zach Wilson.
Todd.
Yeah. Whatever, Aaron. I disagree with Aaron at this point. So whatever he just said, I'm with it. Yeah. No, I think the main thing is that the Jets took one away from him in Week 1 on Monday night, and everyone, the AFC East is going to be like a funky, I don't think New England will, I think they're already out of splitting with everyone, but I mean, the rest of this division could split, and the Bills this is a get right game for Buffalo. It has to be. And even if they win and they don't play well, that fucking dark cloud is just looming over Buffalo.
It's fourth in season for Buffalo.
Canada. Yeah.
Corey?
I'm going to go. No, the dark cloud looming over Buffalo is Canada. Just a geography joke. I'm going to go with the Bills here as well. Question. We asked where are we at temperature wise on Trevor Lawrence. I'll ask the same about Josh Allen.
I'm starting to feel better about my prediction of him as a quarterback coming into the league.
It's 50 degrees and I have a windbreaker on.
So
he continues to lead the league in interceptions, which has been an interesting. Or he has led the most interceptions since joining the league.
69.
But you also there is an interesting. I don't know if you. It's the survivorship bias though too. You have to be good enough to have the chance to throw that many interceptions.
Mm-hmm. So
I think he is a good enough quarterback that he's always going to be in there. He's still a top 5 guy. And in my opinion, he's just, I don't know. He's in a rough stretch right now. But I think I'm okay with never considering him MVP again.
If they miss the playoffs, is McDermott gone?
Ooh, yeah.
If you fire a coordinator
a
in the beginning of the season and you miss the playoffs, there's 100% chance that the coach is gone. Yes.
I agree with that. That's a great question. Because
Thank you.
as soon as they announced that Ken Dorsey was fired, I was like, oh shit.
No other scapegoat.
If they go 7-10, McDermott's toast.
I'm sorry. Did Ken Dorsey put 12 men on the field in special teams?
Nope.
I don't recall him doing that.
Didn't do that.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown 11 picks either, but
Because if that doesn't happen, he's still employed.
Just fucking Brian Daboll's just drooling right now, thinking about bringing that guy in as a quarterbacks coach for a new quarterback in New York. Really, that's kind of where I see it.
The fish rots at the head. That's how it works.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I talked to a Bills fan this morning. I had a little call, little meeting.
Word in.
And I asked him a really simple question. I said, "What's your feeling right now?" And his response was treachery. And this is a real legitimate.
And then he jumped through a table.
Yeah, in the Zoom meeting. I heard him just try. He forgot to mute his microphone. Went fuck and just flipped his table. But he just said treachery, and he said it just feels like we're honestly always just digging our own grave. And I said, yeah, I mean, I hear you. I said, you're a team that won 13 games last year, so I don't feel that sentiment right now with you. And he was like, he was like, Ken Dorsey, fire, and then he went automatically into the flip. He was like, well, fired Ken Dorsey will build this offense back up. Josh Allen and Joe Brady have a great connection. And I'm like, dude, anytime you fire your OC, you're in a really weird spot to finish out a year, especially when you have the toughest schedule to finish out the year.
Facts.
I just don't think there's a team that we pinpointed better than the Bills preseason.
That's true. We did kind of hit the nail on the head, fellas.
They missed their window. They missed their window. Yeah.
And then you couple that with a couple of injuries on defense that were real impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Matt Milano going out, let's be real. It's one of the biggest injuries in the NFL this season. I mean,
it's a captain.
Completely derailed the Buffalo defense.
Yeah. Anytime you lose a captain.
Games.
Yeah. Anytime you lose a captain, that fucks team chemistry up. It really does.
Yeah.
For sure. That, albeit, everybody has the Bills between the panel and the chat. So
let's shit on the Bills, but I'm still taking them to win.
It's the Jets.
Yeah.
Bills Mafia represent. Please this week, so we can all actually not miss this time. Thank you. Next game, Sunday night game. We've got the Pastronaut taking on.
Great nickname.
God, that's a good nickname.
Taking on high knees in the Denver Broncos.
This is like the swan song of Sunday night, boys.
Dude, this is so fun. I love this
game. I think this is actually going to be a good game.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it.
Good game. There's going to be some random fantasy guys where you're like, oh, I'm going against Josh Dobbs this week. Or
Jay Jets might be back.
Yeah, Jay Jets might be back.
It's looking
to be back.
It's looking that he is going to play on Sunday, boys.
God, Lord,
everything. I've been as a multiple league Jay Jet as owner. I'm following that shit like a hawk. I got noties turned on for anything that pops up with Justin Jefferson right now.
Yeah, as you should.
I'm right on the cusp in one league, and if I need it so bad I could taste it.
Todd's like, I'm on season 3 of the Jeffersons. I'm moving.
Oh yeah.
All right, Todd, lead us off. Vikings in Denver. Who you got?
Yeah, it's a sexy game, boys. It's the hottest topic in the NFL, being Josh Dobbs, and and Corey said it, this is a Broncos team that's won 3 games in a row. 2 of those against teams that we're talking, the Chiefs, and another one being the Bills, that a lot of people projected to win the AFC East. They're kind of hot right now. And and this is a team that gave up 70 points. And then you look at the opposite side of that. In the last 3 weeks, this defense has played exceptionally well. I didn't have a decision until right now, and I'm kind of just going to take the hotter hand, I think, between the two of them right now, and I'm going to take the Broncos at home. I think that they have
Vikings are hot too, though. Like
they are. You're right. No, I agree with you.
5 in a row for
Josh
Vikings.
Dobbs cooking right now, cooking like a supernova.
Here's where before Corey gets to pick, I just want to say this. Josh Dobbs has played in the NFL for 7 years, right? somewhere in that ballpark. This is year 7 or 6 for him. And he's gotten multiple opportunities to start in the NFL. And I just think that that flame's going to fizzle out. It has to fizzle out soon.
Turns into a pumpkin.
Yeah. A very shiny pumpkin. That's a alopecia joke there. Maybe didn't land as well as I wanted to, but
God
damn.
That wasn't my sorry, Charlie Villanueva. That's my bad too. Look, I just think that this Josh Dobbs thing's done. I think it's done at this week. It's cool 2 weeks in a row to see him play well. He's getting a lot of publicity. He's a very intelligent guy. I like that he's getting all of these interviews because I think he deserves the flowers right now, but the flame's done. It's out.
Aaron.
Yeah, it's a great story. I predicted the downfall of it last week, and Corey, we both did. We said I think the Saints defense is gonna, kind of stomp this fire out. Yeah, I'm out on the Saints too. But then also at the same time, when Jameis came in, it's like, all right, well, let's get the ball to Olave finally.
And then 2 picks.
And yeah, but it's amazing to me how once he came in, like the Vikings were on their heels that entire time. I don't know how to go this game.
Yeah,
I really don't, because I have just watched the Broncos beat the Bills and the Chiefs. And we've said it. Yeah, I don't want to fall into recency bias, but at the same time, the Vikings are almost now doing a microcosm of what they did last season, where, they looked terrible at the beginning of the year, and I kept fading them, and that worked out pretty well. And now I don't know what to do.
You're standing over there, and you're standing over there, and I don't know which way is up.
Exactly. I'm taking Denver. I'm taking Denver at home. I think last week was.
Let's ride.
I actually like what I'm seeing out of this defense right now, and I don't know. I don't look now, but Russell Wilson's actually played okay, guys.
All year.
He's played good all year. That's what I was going to say too. He's actually quite the swan song this year for Russell Wilson. Comeback player of the year.
Unlimited.
I'm not going to fade you guys. I think the Dobbs story has been great, but I think you haven't picked yet.
Nope. I stole his thunder with an alopecia joke.
I'm sorry.
You can you can pick. I just wanted to make sure that you knew I didn't. Go ahead.
Thanks for letting me know that I failed.
You don't have to go last every time. It's chill.
But no, I got the Broncos this week. I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like the Raiders this week. It was great. It was one of those things that was an awesome story for a couple weeks. But at the end of the day, I think Russell Wilson and the Broncos are playing better football right now, and I think they're going to get it done, regardless of whether or not Justin Jefferson is back. There's a reason that Josh Dobbs has been passed around this season, and on 4 different teams.
Man, what Cleveland would not give for that 5th rounder back.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
I'll address that real quick. Josh Dobbs looked less than mediocre in the preseason.
Yeah.
Like DTR outplayed him handedly. Josh Dobbs was the 2nd string. He earned the right to play.
It was an easy, cheap shot, and I took it.
No, but I hear you. Like he is a very, very intelligent guy, and I think it's nothing but to his credit to see what he has done in Arizona this year, in Minnesota this year. But there's a reason that Arizona, took the pick to get rid of him. Obviously, they knew they had Kyler coming back. But he is a journeyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so everybody's got the Broncos. Corey, who do you have?
Yeah, so I'm also taking them, but I want to for a different reason. I think so. I've been to Mile High. No, I've been to Mile High. That they're on a 3-game win streak. They're gonna be there, and they're gonna be loud. It's one of the most intense environment. I'll be straight with you guys. I was at the AFC Championship game that the Bengals beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Not that much different. I'm just being honest with you. Like Mile High is a loud, intense stand or fans. They have aluminum stands to where everyone is like, duh, 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 duh. Every time you fuck up as a quarterback and throw an incomplete pass, the guy comes on the loudspeaker and says, and that pass was, and the entire fucking 40,000 donkey fans go, incomplete. So everyone knows you fucked up. And I don't know. There's something to be said about that. So that plus we've got a 5-game win streak and a 3-game win streak. I'm going to fade the larger streak. Fade the streak. It's alive. Give me the Broncos.
All righty. Everybody's got the Broncos. Moving into the Monday night game. A battle of what could, what is
What a little
arguably
dessert on this week.
Yeah.
Two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in this current juncture. We have Jalen Hurts and the sexiest man alive, Jason Kelsey, taking things on the road to face his brother and the Kansas City Chiefs alongside Patrick Mahomes. What a battle on Monday night.
Super Bowl rematch, baby.
Yep.
A Super Bowl rematch. We have the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in Arrowhead. Corey James, who do you have?
Guys, I'm gonna put a hot take out here.
Tie.
Travis Kelsey is going to retire before he has to.
Interesting. Why do you? Because T Swift. You think they're
Not
getting married, have
necessarily.
babies?
Not necessarily. Maybe they'll do that. That they would be beautiful children, I'm sure.
For sure.
I would say.
I don't think we can argue that.
Very
wealthy. Very wealthy.
So I would just say that I think I don't know that Travis loves football as much as he loves everything else. And he's got so many options out there to not.
Yeah.
And he also, what else does he have to prove also? Travis Kelsey's going in the Hall of Fame. We're ready. I think we can say that at this point in his career.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know. I see him leaning into this podcast / he could be honestly. If you told me in 5 years, 10 years, Travis Kelsey was on Good Morning America as one of the anchors, I wouldn't be shocked.
It's fair.
That Michael Strahan, Nate Burleson type career. I could absolutely see that for him.
See, I see him more of as a McAfee.
But he's not a WWE piece of shit dickhead. So that's where I differ.
No, but I don't see him as a button down, morning TV.
Yeah,
person.
less censorship. You mean kind of go in that direction?
Yeah, I could see. I'm more of a pop culture commentary type guy rather than here's the news.
Right.
Yeah.
We saw how he popped on SNL or and I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying completely.
But just outside of football, he has a market, is what I'm trying to express.
Yes. Yeah,
and
probably wealthier.
He has a much bigger market now.
100% wealthier outside of football.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my hot take. That being said, there's only one team in football that has been as complete as you could almost be, and that's the Eagles this season. Jalen Hurts, while he is up near the top of the league in picks, I don't think the Chiefs have anywhere near the horses to compete on offense with the Eagles. The Chiefs defense is fantastic. Let's be very clear. The Chiefs defense is carrying them, actually.
Yeah,
100%.
It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's certainly not Travis Kelsey. The Chiefs defense is carrying them to where they're at right now. And thank God for the Chiefs. They don't play in the AFC North because they'd be fucked 4 ways to Tuesday. That's all I'm saying. And all that things considered, Chiefs at home, that defense, it's going to be a hell of a football game. I can't wait to watch it. It's still Patrick Mahomes. He's at home. But give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles, man. They're going to avenge
Yeah.
the Super Bowl and win. I think they're going to win on Monday night.
Todd.
I like it too. Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles here too. I just outside of the Eagles being the most complete, they were one series away from winning the Super Bowl last year, boys, and that's basically
Absolutely.
the same. That's the same roster that came back, and people don't forget. I think that's a nice thing to say. People don't forget, and I think reference. That yeah. Thank you.
Don't you go piss your pants again?
It's third grade. People
like 8 years ago, asshole.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I think that we talked about how good the Chiefs defense is. The Eagles defense is just as good. And I think Jalen Hurts is playing better football than Pat Mahomes right now. And I agree. I think this is, and also the Eagles have something that the Chiefs don't. A consistent wide receiver to target, and then someone else to fall back on. I think that's a big thing. I think having fallback hands really impacts the outcome of games, and I think the Chiefs, that well's kind of finally run dry for them, where they just kind of pull people out of the wickets and they figure it out during the season. I think you're seeing them slow down on offense because of that.
To that point, Todd, I think Dallas Goedert could have more yards than Travis Kelce in this game.
I don't think that's a stretch.
It's fair
Goddard
assessment.
out?
Is he out?
Is he back? Is he back?
I thought he
Oh,
played.
that's right. He has a fucking broken forearm.
No, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Damn. All right. Good call on that one.
Aaron.
So then I redact that statement.
Good
Who do you
call.
have?
Yeah, he's doubtful. Listen, Super Bowl rematch. I oftentimes like the team that lost. I think it means a lot more to them. Also, when you take a look at last week, is there any team that has benefited more from being on the bye than Kansas City after everything that happened this past week? You had the Bills lose, you had the Ravens lose, you had the Bengals lose. It was, all the Chiefs had to do was sit back and watch for them to be in a better position this week. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, I actually think that the Cowboys are going to start nipping at their heels just a little bit, even though they've taken care of them twice. I'm going with the Eagles here as well. I think they're the more well-rounded football team. I think Jalen Hurts is playing great. Both of these teams coming off of a bye, though. Anything can happen, but for whatever reason, that offense just isn't clicking in the same way. If this comes down to a last-second possession, Kansas City at home, obviously I like Kansas City, but I'm going to take the Eagles here, guys.
This is a tough game, boys. It's a Super Bowl rematch. It's one of those games that, just like the Super Bowl, can go either way. And Eagles have been playing better football, consistently and throughout. Pat Mahomes has struggled this season much more than Jalen Hurts has. But I'm taking the Eagles here. I see no reason to fade you guys. I think that, as Todd had stated, the team that loses is the team that has much more. Oh, my apologies.
That's right. Me and Todd are on wavelengths today. I would understand.
Fuck yeah, we are.
And Todd is apparently a hired gun for you at this point.
Yeah.
I've never done it before, but I'm going to give it a try after that fucking speech. God damn.
Try
That'll
anything
get you
once.
piss hot.
I think we just need to get on a train of just like making sure we clip Todd's sound bites, so we can just put them in here.
I feel like we had a lot of parody.
That'll
this
get
week,
you pissed hot.
Yeah.
You guys don't like? You guys never heard that?
No,
phrase?
it can be done.
No,
No,
I've heard it, but it's just you saying it in the context. It's just beautiful.
You know what else is beautiful, Bobby? You know what else is beautiful?
Massive
Bobby?
fake tits. Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
You know who else does something like that?
Massive fake tits. Nice. Oh, you're naughty. Yeah, we got him.
We got it all here, baby. But yeah, so everybody's got the Eagles, with the exception of Joshua and Tez, both taking the Chiefs. On
Josh
Monday night.
also clearly tailing Tez on this game.
Yes, clearly.
This is a coin flip, though. I know we're all in lockstep, but this is a coin flip.
I want to take a look at their picks side by side because they are
They're
not
the same.
62 and 40.
I feel like I was riding with Charlie.
Let's take a
all
look
week.
and see where they differed here. So the only games they differed on were Chargers, Packers. Josh has the Chargers. Tez has the Packers.
Man, sorry, Tez.
that is it. That is the only game they're
Wow.
different on. Every other game, they were
Tez
the
is a big
exact
Packers
same.
fan this week.
So, wow, I cannot believe you guys tailed each other that closely. That's wild.
I feel like we didn't have a lot of discrepancy between us this week.
Aaron, you and I only have 3.
So, Steelers, Browns. Aaron and Todd have the Browns. Corey and I have the Steelers.
Yeah.
Bengals.
Let's see.
Bengals.
Yeah,
Bengals.
Bengals.
Rams,
Bengals,
Seahawks. Aaron and I have the Rams. Corey and Todd have the Seahawks. Excuse me.
I don't like being paired up with a guy in last place in all of these. I
Dude,
just
it's
wanna go
fucking
out.
fine.
Bengals, Ravens. Aaron and I have the Bengals. Corey and Todd have the Ravens.
Yeah, and all of them I'm with.
So
Todd.
correction
Hell
here.
yeah.
Tez-
Me and
Tez is-
Corey-
Hey, baby.
Tez is on the Chargers here. He's saying so. They're all in lockstep.
Tez said the I'm sorry. Tez said the Packers.
Oh, he's coming in saying right now. No,
Hold on. No, I'm gonna rewind this shit.
that's what I'm doing right
Ted-
now.
No.
Is Tez
He's
said
got the
Packers.
Chargers.
He's
I
got the
don't get
Chargers.
this shit wrong.
I'm looking. You did get it wrong. He's got the
You did get
Chargers.
it
I'm
wrong.
looking at the chat.
Okay, maybe I got it wrong then.
Wait, whoa. He did come back. Hold on. Wait, what's the weather in Green Bay this Sunday? LOL.
I'm
if
going
it's freezing-
Packers.
Oh, if it's freezing or snowing, I'm going Packers, is what he said.
Okay,
And it's
that's
not.
Where, that's where I missed. I'm sorry, Tez. You can't be throwing that at me.
Silly goose.
Okay, so then you guys are the exact same. You boring Nancy's.
Yeah, you guys are pussies. But I love you and appreciate you for joining the show this evening.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Sheesh. All right,
Oh, fuck. Pray
boys.
for me
Do we
tomorrow.
have anything else? Do we have anything else we want to discuss before we wrap this pod up?
Yeah, I think we took the people's time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a little over 2 hours in. Par for the course, gentlemen.
Sleepy Joe.
It was a beautiful week.
Well, you did House of Blizzard.
Shane Gillis, Corey James, Donald Trump. But no, I appreciate everybody coming through. For those of you that are catching this after the fact, we appreciate you guys following up on Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. We are on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, anything that you can possibly think of for podcasts to be on. We're there. Appreciate everybody coming through. Best of luck in your fantasy games this week. And we will see you guys
Great week of
next
football.
week for week 12. Whose alarm's going off?
That's a dehumidifier, please.
It's actually SWAT coming right now.
It's full, and I have to now go empty it.
Clear!
All right, chat. Love you. Peace.